بالله الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So we are going to continue with the third part of our lesson. And in this lesson, in this part, a continuation of the first section of our lesson, we shall be talking about water quality issues. So when you're talking about water governance, the issues related to water quality is also of the essence. And when we're talking about water quality, as I said earlier, we are talking about pollution. So number one, we need to define what water quality issues is. So water quality issues refers to the contamination of water sources. For example, if the river is our source, then it has or it is contaminated. If the ocean is our source, it's contaminated. The dam, so the sources are contaminated. So what is the net effect of this? If the water is contaminated, what happens? Number one, making water unsafe for human use. You cannot drink contaminated water. You cannot cook with, contaminated water. You cannot even use it for agriculture. And it's not even good for our ecosystem, our environment, that is. Now, this contamination, this happens when harmful substances enter our rivers, lakes, and groundwater. For example, fertilizers washing into rivers can cause algae blooms that poison water. We normally use our fertilizers, yes, but when rain carries this fertilizer to the rivers, it contaminates the rivers. Number two, factories. And when you're talking about factories dumping chemicals, this is what you can see. This is what is happening. Our factories are dumping a lot of waste in our water sources, and this is the net effect, So here we are talking about the what? Factory dumping chemical can make water toxic. Then untreated sewage can spread diseases like cholera. So in short, even if water is available, poor quality can make it unusable or dangerous. Yes, you can have the water kafi, but في المقابل, if the water هناك تلوث في المياه, you cannot use it, Okay, what are the main causes of water pollution? And what are its impact? Number one, the causes of water pollution. Pollution from agriculture, the fertilizers we normally use, the pesticides we normally use. So chemicals used in farming can run off into water bodies, contaminating them. Number two, industrial waste. Factories may release harmful chemicals, heavy metals, or toxins into water sources. Three, untreated sewage. Wastewater from homes and cities that is not properly treated can carry bacteria, viruses, and pollutants. And this is what is happening in most of our countries, most of our towns, because we don't have drainage systems, so people end up pouring water. You just wash, open the door, the gate, look right, left, pour the water. Your neighbor pours the water. Another neighbor pours the water. What is going to happen at the end of the day? So what is going to happen is this, the impacts of water quality issues. Unsafe drinking water. So contaminated water cannot be safely consumed without treatment. Two, health risk. Can cause diseases such as cholera, diarrhea, and other waterborne illnesses. Then economic damage, ecosystem damage, Polluted water harms fish, those are living inside the water, plants outside, and entire aquatic ecosystem. When you're talking about aquatic, we are talking about water ecosystem. So in short, water quality problems means that water may exist, yes, walakin it is too polluted to use safely. And this creates serious risks, not only for the people, but also for our environment. Now, we are through with water quality issues. Now, water access issues. If you look at the picture, some people, so there is no equity, and we will talk more in our coming lessons. We'll talk about al-adala or al-musawa. When you're talking about water equity, why is it that some people can get clean water and the other side they don't get clean water? Limada. And this is what, so water governance and policy, it comes to solve this problem, to ensure that there is equity and equality in the distribution of water. That is, everybody in Somali can easily get the water. It doesn't matter which region you're coming from. It doesn't matter if you have money or if you don't have money. But fi nihayatul mataf, Allah has created this water. And this water, everybody has to get water. And that is why we are electing our leaders. You know, when you go to vote, you have to vote for leaders who are going to fight for these human basic rights. But unfortunately, in Africa, it's not happening. So, access to water, what does this mean basically? Now, access to water refers to the ability of people to obtain safe, reliable, and affordable water for daily needs, such as drinking, cooking, and sanitation. So there are some words that have been highlighted there in bold. So number one, when you're talking about accessibility, we are talking about number one, we can obtain safe water, water that is not polluted. We can get clean water. Number two, reliable. Reliable means what? We can get it for the next 10 years. Every day I can get the water. But if one day I'm getting the water, next day I'm not getting the water, then it is unreliable. Then lastly, it should be affordable. Affordability means it's all about the pricing of the water. So every person, alal akal, should be able to afford to buy the water. So even where water exists, access can be limited. Sometimes, yes, maybe you can go to Mogadishu or where you can just find هناك المياه. ولكن مع تواجد هذه المياه هناك الندرة. How? So even where water exists, access can be limited. لماذا? There is poor infrastructure. The river is there, but we don't have the piping that can be able to do what? Can help us do what? Can help us get the water in the household. Number two, poverty. Al-Fakr. So sometimes people even don't have $1 to buy water. ثم أخيرا, an equal distribution. ليست هناك العدالة in distribution system. For example, a city may have sufficient water overall, but some neighborhoods still lack pipe supply. So this is what they're saying. For example, in the city of Hergesa, Mathalan, it is a city, it has enough water, but some people in Hergesa, they still lack pipe water supply. There is a lot of water. But why is it that some people in town and they still lack water? Limada. Now, when you're talking about key issues in water supply, number one, we are talking of unequal distribution globally and locally. So water is not shared evenly. ليست هناك العدالة في التوزيع المياه. So some countries or regions have abundant supply, while others face shortages. Sometimes these problems are artificial. Sometimes it is just natural. You find, for example, if you go to Berbera, people have water because they have what is it, a lake or what in Berbera? So you cannot say that it's not Adala or not, but the people there, they are very lucky. You know, if you come to Mogadishu, there is the Indian Ocean. The water is just there. So people who live in Mogadishu will get enough water because naturally, tabi'iyan, We have rivers, but some areas, they don't have rivers, so they don't have water. Now, even within the same city, wealthier areas may have better access than poorer ones. Even in Mogadishu or any town, there are some people where the ministers live there, the MPs, the members of the UN, African Union. Where they live, you will always find water 24/7. But the Masakin, la hawla wa la quwwa, you'll never find, they'll not be having enough water. So that is what is known as an equal distribution. Number two, rural versus urban disparities. When you're talking about rural, hunaka al-qarya. And when you're talking about urban, we are talking about what? We are talking about towns, al-mudun. So urban areas often have better infrastructure. If you come to town, the piping is good, the drainage is there. You know, you have competent people working in the ministries and in the institution. While rural communities, Filkaria, may rely on wells, rivers, or sometimes long distance collection. They have to walk for 2 kilometers, 5, sometimes even more, especially in the arid and semi-arid areas. Then lastly, informal settlements often underserved. This is where the Masakin live in the towns, slum areas, slums or unplanned areas. For example, if you go to Kenya, we have the Kibera slums, we have the Madare slums, we have the Korogocho slums. These areas, you know, the level of people who are living there, majority, they're Masakin. Even the housing is not that good, so the drainage system, the piping is not okay. So, you know, so slums or unplanned areas are frequently excluded from official water system, forcing residents to depend on unsafe or expensive alternative, because those areas are congested. There are many people, so when the government does not care about them. Now, the important thing we need to know is that the water crisis is often not just about lack of water, but about inequitable distribution. So this is number one. Water exists, but it is not shared fairly among population. Number two, weak governance system, poor policies, poor planning, poor management. It leads to unequal access and inefficient use. Okay? Now, many water problems arise because of who gets water and how it is managed, rather than simply how much water is available. So water problem is not all about alchemy. The water problems normally come because of who, man, cave, the man and the cave. Now, what are the water challenges in developing context? When we are talking about developing context, we are talking about countries in Africa. So what are the water governance challenges in Africa? Number one, weak institution. So we have government bodies may lack capacity. You know, we have, yes, the ministry, we have institutions who are managing water, but they're not qualified. Or even if they're qualified, you find that they don't, because there you normally need engineers, people who are working in the water ministry, water institution. But you find somebody who graduated, somebody is a teacher, but he's working in those institutions. How? Surely a teacher. But because the minister is from your tribe, you find yourself managing the water. Then coordination is also poor or authority to manage water effect. Number two, limited infrastructure. Inadequate system like pipes, reservoirs where water is saved. We don't have enough of that. And treatment plants. We don't have areas where we can treat our plants to ensure our water is safe. Financial constraints. Lack of funding for building, maintaining, and expanding water system. So if you go to our budget allocation, a lot of money in Africa, in the budget, is allocated for defense and security because we like fighting in Africa. So what they normally do, a lot of money go there. They don't care about education. They don't care about health. They don't care about water. Number 4, rapid population growth. زيادة في عدد السكان. So increasing demand puts pressure on already limited water resources. Then informal water system. Many people rely on unregulated sources, e.g. water vendors, wells, which may be unreliable or unsafe. So informal water system. So people depend on water that is not that regulated. Climate vulnerability, high exposure to droughts. You find that in some countries, areas they don't get even rain for 2-3 years, maybe floods, or even if they get water, the water like now what is happening in Kenya, there is a lot of floods. Again, it brings a lot of darar instead of al-manfa, and changing rainfall patterns. This year it is raining, another year you don't see the rain. So the net effect is that you don't have enough water. So example context in the Horn of Africa, when you're talking about Horn of Africa, we are talking about Somali, we're talking about Djibouti, we're talking about Ethiopia. So what challenges do they face? Dependence on rainfall. Most water supply relies on seasonal rains rather than stable sources. All these areas I've mentioned, they depend a lot on seasonal rains. They don't have stable sources. Frequent droughts in Somali, limited storage. Sometimes it rains a lot, but we don't have enough dams to store the water. Now, water challenges in developed context. So, developed context means countries that are countries that have good governance system, countries that have enough resources, but also those countries like Europe, countries in Europe, countries in America, Canada, Australia, they also have their problems. So it is not only us in Africa who are facing this problem, but this problem is worldwide. It's just the nature or the degree, but we all have the problems. So developed countries, the water challenges in developed countries refers to the issues advanced economics, advanced al-iqtisadiyat mutatawira, developed countries. They call themselves developed, but they are not developed akhlaqiyan, and so refers to the issues advanced economies face in maintaining efficient, sustainable, and equitable water system, despite having more resources and established infrastructure. So they have more resources, yes, they have established infrastructure, but still they face challenges. So these challenges are often about upgrading system, also managing high demand, because they are industrialized countries. They are building industries every day. These industries, they need water, and balancing environmental concern. So the common challenges in those countries, number one, aging infrastructure. Aging means all infrastructure. So many water systems are old and need repair or replacement, leading to leaks and inefficiencies. So some of their systems, they were built in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. In some cities, countries, they've not replaced it. Overconsumption, high water use in household. Many houses in Europe, they use a lot of water in agriculture also, and industry put pressure on available resources. Pollution control, managing contamination from industry activities, urban runoff, and chemical remains a major concern. How can they balance? Then lastly, climate adaptation. That is, in some areas there is flooding, in some areas there is extreme weather. So increasing floods, storms, and changing weather patterns require better planning than resilient system that can endure, system that can stay for long. So this is the key comparison between developing countries and basically what we were talking about. When it comes to access, when it comes to infrastructure, the governance, and main concern. So أخيرا خلاصة القول, this is the summary. So these are the key concepts that we have covered. Number one, We talked about governance and management. What did we say the difference is? Governance, system of decision making. Management, we said it's what? Implementation of those decisions. So that is very easy if you are asking an exam. Governance, it's all about systems of decision making. Management, tanfidh, implementation. Water security. You can be asked, what is water security? So water security means having reliable access to what? Number one, sufficient. You know, sufficient means enough. Two, safe. And lastly, affordable. Those three things. So when you're talking about this, you know, and it involves several key components, including availability of water resources. So availability, accessibility, and quality, and the ability to manage risk and uncertainty. So when you're talking about water security, think about at-tawafur. We're talking about al-tawafur. Is it available? Okay. Number two, is it accessible? Can we easily get it? Then number three, quality, al-jawda. Is it safe for drinking? Then lastly, can we manage? Then sustainability. This word has been repeating itself. Sustainability. ماذا نعني بsustainability? So sustainability in water use means meeting current water needs. This is very important. Without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So sustainability basically means how can we balance al-yawm wal-mustakbal. So what you are doing today should not affect the future of your children. Like what you are doing today, don't pollute the environment. Don't cut the trees. Because if you do that, in future, your children, they will be crying. So sustainability means let us have the practice of doing things that are going to ensure that we have enough water for today, our generation, and the generations to come. Then resilience. What is resilience? Resilience refers to the ability of water systems to withstand shocks and adapt to changing conditions, such as drought, floods, and climate variability. So resilience means al-quwa wal-imkaniya. So our system should be very strong. Even if we have drought, our system, our dams should be enough to supply water. If we are having rain, our system should enable us to collect this water. You know? So this is what is meant by resilience. Now, lastly, there is an exercise here during your free time. Try to attempt. So number one, they're giving you a case. There is a case that a rapidly growing city, Mogadishu, is growing and growing and growing and growing. So it's expanding population. There is limited water supply and also informal settlement. There are these three things happening in Mogadishu. So the discussion question, who should get priority access? So in an exam, you can be given this question. They need you to analyze this. They need you to analyze. You have Mogadishu. We have the population, the women, the young population. You know, even in Mogadishu, you have agriculture sector, you have the hospitals, you have the schools. So now you are the minister for water. Who should get priority access? Who should get the water first? Are they the hospital, then the school, then or the women first, or the hospital? Also, you have to have the ability to analyze issues. Then, should water be free or price? You now, what do you think should be happening? Do you think that people should pay for the water? And if they should pay for the water, how much? What role should government versus private sector play? So all these things require you to be very analytical, because one day you will be working, or even now, maybe you are already working in the government or with the NGOs. And so these are the things that will be arising that needs you to analyze critically. Then sometimes you can be asked, this is a debate question, is water a human right or an economic good? So you can be given this question and they can like ask you, oh, so this is just like a debate. So you can say it's a human right. Then you give your argument. Then no, you can say no, it's an economic good. So like water is just like a mobile phone. It's just like a laptop. It's just like sugar. We need to sell it. So this is an argument. And when you are doing this, you have to ask yourself, there is the issue of equity, al-musawa, al-adala, and efficiency, al-kafa'a, public and private provision, affordability and sustainability. So these are the things you have to consider when you're answering this question. Now, then a short reflection. Analyze the water issue in your country or region. Where you are coming from. I don't know where you are coming from, but I need you to think about anything in your area. If you have any problem, identify whether the problem is, number one, for example, if you are in Mogadishu or if you are in Hargeisa, Boroma, or any area, Boro, or where you're coming from, what is the problem? Is it scarcity and nudra? They don't have enough water? And how can it be solved? Is it a problem with access? The water is there, but people cannot get it. Is it a problem with governance, decision making? Is it a problem with infrastructure? Or sometimes it can be a combination of all these problems. So sometimes you can analyze this problem, then you can help your community to find answer to that problem, because they expect you. And of course, this is why you are doing this course. This is why you want this master, so that when you sit on the table, because one day you'll be seated on the table of making decisions related to water or governance issues. So, khulasatul qawl, this is now our key takeaways. So water governance is about who decides, how and for, and governance is different from management, but it is equally important that the global water crisis is largely a governance crisis. The problem we are facing worldwide is a governance crisis, is decision-making problem. Then water security depends on what? Our institutions, the policies we are making, and equity. Then lastly, sustainable and resilient system are essential for the future generation. Okay. Now that's the end of our lesson. So do you have any question? That's the end of our lesson. Is there any question? Nam.
No, we understand very clear.
Was the question, the lesson was clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah, so I will send also the link. I have a YouTube channel. I will send you the link of the YouTube, so you'll find these lessons. I will upload it in my YouTube channel and you will get it there. Then can you look at your group? I have sent the attendance link. I need you to click the attendance. Can you check your group now? I have sent the attendance. Click the attendance, click the link, write your name and submit it. This is how you will be taking your attendance. I have sent the link to your group now. Have you seen the link? Can you check your group now? Take the attendance. Just write your name and mobile number and submit. write your name, write your mobile number, and submit. Have you seen the link? Have you seen the link in your group? That is the attendance
Yes.
link. So you have to take it because I'm going to disable it. Some students, they do not attend. So take the attendance quickly. I'm going to disable the link now. Have you taken it? So that's the end of our lesson. We'll meet tomorrow, inshallah. Wassalam.
Inshallah. Wa alaikum salam.